Good morning, everybody. This is Michelle with Fun in Key West, and it is Wednesday. Um, so the question today is, how far is it to Key West? And Mr. Coffee is stopped by to say hello and help answer this question. So there's a lot of, well, it depends answers on how far it is. But, if you're coming in or flying into Miami, you're about 160 miles if you're driving. On a good day, and I mean a really good day, you're probably 3.5 hours one way drive with no stops. But why would you want to drive from Miami to Key West and not have a stop or two along the way? So we're going to talk about this today. It's not only how far is it to Key West, it's how long can it take you? Is it, a day trip? Are you hell bent on getting to Key West and just enjoying all the fun things there? Or are you going to take your time and take a couple of days? Either way, totally up to you. But let's talk about it. So, and again, Mr. Coffee says hello. So the Keys themselves stretch about 110 miles. And at the top, before you get coming in there and you're leaving Miami, if you want to make a day of it or on your way back as you fly out of Miami, be sure to check out the Everglades National Park. It's a really cool park. It's just something to see the ecosystem that the Everglades are. But then you head yourself down, you're driving to the Key West through the Keys, and you're on the overseas highway. And keep in mind, like I said, 3.5 hours is a good travel time. But there are impacts on time. During peak season, you're going to have slower traffic. Keep in mind, even though I said it's 110 miles, it's one lane down and one lane back up. And there are speed limits along the way because you are going, as you go through these keys, these are communities, these are towns, and so they have speed limits. And I'm going to tell you that you may, if you exceed those speed limits, end up with a little bit of a welcome to the Florida Keys memento, which would be in the form of a speeding ticket. So be cautious, be careful, watch for traffic. So things that would impact your time and travel. Obviously accidents. So you want to keep an eye out on, the 511 or whatever, there's other Facebook pages that you can watch for accidents. Hurricane season's going to have an impact. You're also going to have an impact if it's lobster season. Trust me, been there, tried to drive in and out of the Keys during lobster season. Very, very time consuming, and I should have just stayed home. But let's kind of talk about this along the way. If you're not familiar with this, everything along the Keys is marked by mile markers. So Key Largo is mile marker 100, which means you are 100 miles to Key West. So these mile markers are how many miles north of Key West you are. So your starting point coming into the Keys would be Key Largo. This, if you did not know this, is the diving capital of the world. The famous Christ of the Abyss is here. The very first undersea park is here, which is the John Penningham Coral Reef National Park. I'm sorry, State Park. It's Coral Reef State Park. And it is actually 70 nautical miles. That's a huge park. You can cruise the African Queen here. So if you are an old movie buff like I am and want to see the original African Queen, it's been restored. And even if you don't go out on it, you can see it as you stop in Key Largo. And that's kind of a cool place. How many songs have been written about Key Largo and movies and all of that? So I'm not going to take you through every town along the way, but let's hit some highlights and see if you've stopped at these places, done any of these things. Tell me below in the comments. Say, hey, Michelle, I did this, and this was one of my favorite things I found that I did, or hey, I would pass on that. That's nothing to worry about. So first and foremost on the list, the 7 Mile Bridge. I mean, it's a famous view, right? It's one of the longest bridges that was in existence when it was built. Rumor has it, I don't know if it's, folklore or what, but traffic was stopped and on the 7 Mile Bridge, and Jimmy Buffett was stuck in traffic, and supposedly that's where he wrote Margaritaville, on the bridge, stuck in traffic. Let me know in the comments. Is that right? Wrong? Mr. Google seems to think it is. Another place that you're going to want to check out either on your way down to Key West or plan a trip back up is Bahia Honda State Park. They've got a great beach there. It's a beautiful sunset view. You got the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean. As you step out on the remnants of the old overseas highway, you can see how the waters come together. It's a really cool place. If animals and turtles are your thing, check out the Turtle Hospital. Their mission is to rescue and rehabilitate sick turtles. And so they do releases. Check out their website of what they have going on. It's not a zoo, but it's a functioning rescue place. And you can learn all about their mission and help them out. Other things to see in terms of wildlife. You have Big Pine Key, which is just north of Key West. And there you've got the National Key Deer Refuge. Again, I've told you this is a place that has such a unique history and story of how it was created. But the key deer are really cute. Don't touch them, don't feed them, but they're really neat to see. The Dolphin Research Center is another place you can stop. You can swim with the dolphins there. You're going to have to make sure you go online, reserve your spot, and all of that. Their mission there is to educate and research and rescue dolphins. I think they have some manatees there as well. Check them out. It can be if you're traveling with kids or you just want to stretch your legs, great place just to stop and check out. If you don't want to do that full drive all the way down to Key West in one day, you could stop and plan staying halfway-ish down. So you could stay at Marathon. There's some really neat things that happen in Marathon. You got Sombrero Beach. You can go out on the pier, go fishing. They have some cool events that we always notate in our calendar of events that are happening in Marathon. If fishing is your vibe, actually, you're going to want to go to Island Murata. That is the sport fishing capital of the world. And there you're going to enjoy all kinds of adventures out on the water. There's things to do, great places to stay, a couple great breweries that you can check out. I like Island Murata. It's one of my favorite places to stop. And I try to stop at the brewery and pick up something to go anytime I'm there and it's open. Because obviously you don't drink and drive, but they have some really yummy beer there. So if Key West is your destination or your starting point, like I said, you can fly into Miami, Fort Lauderdale, you can drive down, enjoy the Keys, or you can just fly into Key West International Airport. They're going through that whole big renovation, and then you can rent a car and drive up the Keys. Or if you don't want to worry about renting a car and finding a parking spot and all of that, grab a guided tour from up the Keys. They're a great company. They'll take you up and you can check out Bahia Honda, the Dolphin Research Center, the aquarium. They have all kinds of tours that you can pick. But nonetheless, you're in Key West. I'm going to remind you, head over to FunInKeyWest.com. Check out everything that we say that things to do. There's, museums, there's bars, there's restaurants, there's so much fun things to do, tours, guides, all of that. But here's some interesting things to think about. Maybe, because we talked about this, before. Best key lime pie. Well, not only do you want to maybe check out the best key lime pie in the Key West, but what about the best key lime pie in the Keys? So as you're exploring the Keys in Key West, maybe figure out who has the best key lime pie. If you have an idea of who has the best key lime pie in Key West or the Florida Keys, put it in the comments below. Say, hey, Michelle, here is the place that you need to check out for key lime pie, and tell me why. Obviously, you can go to Key West, and most places along the Keys have live music. Duval Street obviously has, bar to bar to bar, and you can check out all of the live music there. Get your picture taken at the southernmost point. So, those are really kind of, check out the six-toed cats at Ernest Hemingway. I could go on. Head over, like I said, shameless plug, head over to FunInKeyWest.com. Check out all of our recommendations. Another thing that you want to do if you go just want a little bit, it's not necessarily further south, but you're going to go in more into the Gulf of Mexico, is head over to the Dry Tortugas National Park. If you have not done this trip, you really should. You take the ferry over, but I'm going to tell you, you don't show up in Key West and then think that you're going to get a spot on the ferry. This trip is so phenomenal. It books up weeks, if not months ahead of time. So if that's something that is on your bucket list that you really want to do, make sure that you book that before you leave home. So to wrap up this, how far is it to Key West? Depends on your starting point. If you're flying or driving, it's all about the destination, yes, but it's about the journey to the destination, especially in the Keys. So you want to explore this and check out everything that you possibly can. So your Key West drive, be it from the airport to your hotel, or your Key West drive is from Miami all the way down the Keys. It's, a really cool thing. If you are driving down the Keys, like I said, I have just hit a few of the highlights of everything that you could check out. We do have an ultimate travel guide that explores the road trip from Miami to the Keys by mile marker, and things to see, places to shop, places to eat, all of that. So be sure to check that out. It's over on FunInKeyWest.com. I'm going to recommend, if you've never driven the Keys, either up or down, you should do it at least once. It is a phenomenal trip. It's something that everybody should do at least once. And here's a recommendation. Don't necessarily beeline it back to where you flew into. So let's say you fly into Miami and then you want to drive down to the Keys. Plan maybe a side trip on your way back up. We've done this. We've gone to Fort Myers and Marco Island and Sanibel Island to check out all those amazing seashells that they have over on Sanibel. Now they're still recovering a lot from hurricanes of years past, but they're still open for business and would love to see you. So maybe you fly back out of Fort Myers or you do that side trip. It's a great road trip because I think that there is no right way to explore Florida or the Florida Keys. Whatever way you want to explore it is the best way to explore it. And I always suggest taking the scenic route. So take your time, plan on being there and enjoying the moment. And because, of course, those are the best road trips, right? Those that unexpected things happen. We have been expecting, so if you're flying out of Miami or Fort Lauderdale and you're having to drive back up the Keys, one last great tip here. Plan 8+ hours to get from Key West to the airport. And I can tell you that we have been there several times where 8 hours wasn't enough to get back up the Keys. So if possible, drive up the day before you fly out. That'll give you a good cushion. So I am Michelle with FunInKeyWest.com. Head over to FunInKeyWest.com. Check it out. Tell me what else you want to know about Key West. If you're trying to plan a trip and need ideas, feel free to either hit me up in the comments below or send me a DM. I'll help you out. See what I can do. In the meantime, it's Wandering Wednesday. Tell me in the comments below your favorite stop along the Keys and how you love to wander through the Florida Keys. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.